All right, guys, we are here again with another spotlight on another Diamond member, another investor, and we're excited to have Brandon on this session with us. I mean, when I first met him, it's been probably a year. We hit it off right from the beginning. I just remember leaving our first meeting, saying to myself, "Hey, man, if everybody can already be equipped mentally with for as far as investing is concerned." Like Brandon, my job would be extremely easy because I think it didn't take much for us to get going and get you enrolled in the programs right from the beginning. And we've been hitting it on all cylinders. So we're here again. And Brandon, can you go ahead and introduce? Well, let me let Sydney introduce herself. A quick introduction, Sydney. I know we've done it several times, but go right ahead, Sydney Brown.
Yes, so I'm Sydney. I have a degree in finance, a degree in fashion merchandising, and I'm here at Symor Investments working to build the brand. So that's
All
my
right.
little intro.
That's right. She's doing a great job. We appreciate all your efforts, Sydney. It's been amazing, an amazing journey. You even started in high school with this, and it's grown into this to where we are today. And we've come a long way from those days. We were in person doing those sessions with everybody. All right, Brandon, go right ahead, Brandon. Let's
Hmm.
talk to
Hey,
us.
right on. Hey, my name is Brandon Mahelich. I'm from Washington. I just hopped on the Seymour Investments about a year ago. About a year ago, yeah.
Yeah,
And I've only been investing for about 2 years, and I wish I hopped on the Seymour Investments a little bit sooner. It's
right.
been great so far.
That's amazing. And Brandon, I'm gonna have to start right up the top since I just found out how old you were. How old are you, Brandon? So no.
Late 20s. I just turned 29 in
Oh my
September.
God. That's great. Let me tell you something, Brandon. When I hear, again, we work with so many investors, so many age ranges, right? When someone comes into the program 45, 50, and they're just starting to build out a stock portfolio, I say there's a sense of urgency there, and we have products that help them catch up. But being 29, I can assure you, being dedicated to the markets like you are, you're going to be very well positioned when you start to hit the 40s and 50s, man. I can just see you now in some villa on some boat somewhere doing some things. If you're not already doing that, so I'm not sure. But Brandon, tell us about yourself. What are you doing out there in Washington and things of that nature?
Well, for starters, I was born and raised in Washington, raised here my whole life. I lived on the west side, but I hopped on a Boeing about 5 years ago. And when there were some layoffs going around during that pre-COVID, I decided to take this contract to the east side of the state. And now I've been out here for about 4 or 5 years. And then I wanted to always kind of like investing. I started with crypto. I
Right,
didn't do very well at crypto. It was so volatile. You buy in right now, and then 10 minutes later, you could lose it all, or you could gain a bunch. It was terrible.
yeah,
I didn't know what I was doing.
right,
I
right,
played for about a year, and I didn't get very far. So I tried to get into stocks because it's a little bit less volatile and it's a little bit
right,
more real. Crypto, you don't see it. You can't touch it or look at it. You can't look them up how they doing. Not really. Not like
right.
stocks. So
That's
hopped
right,
on stocks, and then a good friend of mine told me about Seymour Investments, and she said that she wished she got on a lot sooner. I was like,
right.
okay, well maybe I'll check them out. And you know what? She was right. It's been great since.
Man, that's amazing. And you're way on the other side of the country here in the state of Washington. Hey, it's great to hear sitting our branch way out there on the West Coast. We got people on the
Mhm.
East Coast. We're all over the country right now. And that's amazing. And we're excited about that. And we're having these same results consistently across the country. So that's exciting. Now, you mentioned crypto, and I have so many people asking me about crypto. Ray, what do you think? Is it time to get in yet? And I go back to what Warren Buffett says, right? Warren Buffett says, when you get it, and I think Charlie Munger as well, when you buy crypto, your only hope is somebody else. I hate to use the word dumb enough, but if there's somebody else willing to pay more than what you paid for it, then you make a profit. They don't, you don't make a profit. Now, I know the industry is incredible. I know there's a lot of money being made and people are, gearing up for what's to come. But from a retail investor's perspective, I'm just cautious. Now, if I have to get in, if it goes to rock bottom, Yeah, I'll contemplate buying some at that point, but right now, how high it is now, over 100,000, I wouldn't touch it at the moment
Mm,
because it's not something that you can analyze or it's not producing anything, right? A company, you mentioned stocks are more stable, or companies produce items and products and they sell things, they have revenue, they have income. You can go out there and evaluate that, see how well it's doing, and make an assessment on if it's something you want to put your money in. So that's a whole different ball game than buying a coin and just saying, "All right, I own this piece, this metal, and I just hope somebody comes along and buys it from me." Now I realize gold works
right.
like that, but crypto is just brand new. It's just too new for me, and I've been saying it for the last 5 years. I'm sure I've missed out on a big opportunity, but I'm just gonna stay with what I know. So I think that's a good thing. Now, Brandon, I know you when we first had our conversation, we talked about some real estate things. You had to the people
Mm.
about that.
All right, real estate. Well, I've been looking to build on my property back home. My parents and family, we got about 2.5 acres of land. And
Right,
in this time of the world, it's hard to buy land, and especially on a deal. So my parents got 2.5. I'm gonna try and take advantage of that, right? So I plan on building on it as soon as I move back here from the west side or from the east side of the state. I could move
okay,
over there, move back, put on a house, maybe build a little ADU, additional dwelling unit. That would be great. There's
right,
some new laws coming soon. So I believe next month, the start of 2025, the new Washington laws come into effect. So definitely making plans, definitely looking to build. So we'll
right,
see how it goes.
right. So they have like 2.5 acres on their property, 2.5 acres that's for you guys paid for, so you get the land free and clear and just build on it. Is that right?
Hmm. That's right.
So that's what when I mentioned when I get into my investment seminars, I always talk about real estate being king. I love real estate, right? And then you got your stock market, but what you just kind of mentioned casually is what I see as generational wealth when parent can
Mm,
pass down something to their children and say, well, you can build on this and you don't have to buy the land. We already got that for you. So we look at portfolios the same way. It's just that, I know you got a nice portfolio of stocks. At some point you may have a family and you may pass that thing down to the next generation. So I think that's you're incredibly positioned, right? You're starting off, you're 29 portfolio. I know we're gonna talk about Boeing in a minute, and then you got the real estate. So that's just generational wealth moving, and you being wise enough to put your money in things that gives you a return. We're talking about houses. You already mentioned crypto, but now you move to stocks, which is better. So housing, stocks, so those are good places to put your money. And I'm gonna tell you something. When we had our first conversation as well, actually about Boeing and how much would you were contributing to your 401k. Let us tell the people how much you're putting into your 401k.
just after I met Ray, I just started putting in. Oh, actually, sorry, just before I met Ray, I just switched over from 10 to 18%. I now starting to put in about 21, 22%.
That's absolutely incredible, right? You think about, Sydney, you think about that 22% of your salary off the top going into that 401k, where they're doing a company match, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, since the strike, I'm sure everyone. I don't know if everyone's heard about the strike we had for 2 months, but
Right.
they was paying out I think 8%. Now they just upped it a little bit more. So I figured I'd up
Oh,
mine a little bit more too, right?
that's incredible. So you're really taking that's just a blessing, man. That's incredible. And I applaud you for seeing the value in that right now at 29 years old and doing those sorts of things on the market. So do you have a question? I know I've been talking a lot.
Um, have your overall thoughts about money changed since you started with Symor Investments, or I know you've kind of been in the lane for a while, but have you changed any of your thoughts about money or investing at all?
Yes. At first, when I first started stocks, I was doing very small increments, very small doses of little investments. And I've learned that I like to add a little bit more. I like to increase a little bit more. Small investments, small increments, small rewards. And so, not that I'm saying I need to just jump right in, dump more and more and more. Take it with a grain of salt. So definitely been adding a little bit more On another side note, I like the term um, "money never sleeps." So far, I've been putting a lot of money in my savings, but at the same time, if you think about it, what's the point of having your money sit in your savings if it's not making you money? You
Right.
could go to sleep and your money could work for you. So I
Correct.
like that. I
Yeah,
like kind of
exactly.
like that idea. So I
Right.
like to take a little bit more out of my savings and make the money work for me. Put it in my stocks and let it grow.
That's right.
Sitting in the bank account is good for the bank. It's not good for me.
That's
Right.
right.
So,
That's right. That's the biggest thing going right there in the American economy is the banks making money off of your fears, basically, right?
mhm.
I mean, if you look at some of the returns that they give you, interest
Like 10
paid,
cents, 20
it's
cents.
embarrassing. So
Yeah.
they hold your money, and as soon as you put it in their deposits, they turn around and lend, and that's oh, you're not going to invest it. Well, we'll invest it for you. They'll sit there and fund, a small business or fund something else with the hopes of returning that money back. Hell, they may even put it on the market to sales. So
Mhm.
it's good to realize that early. So, right now, if I'm thinking about it, 22% of Boeing, you're saving money, you're investing in your own portfolio with Symor Investments. Hey, man, you're doing some really good things with the money that you've made already at 29. Where did that mindset come from? Did you figure this out on your own? Did your parents tell you? How did you know this so early to do
Uh,
wise with your money?
well, I guess it came down from my dad. Well, as we grew up, we've definitely had a few times where we struggled for a few years.
Right.
I know my dad, he's put in a lot of money into certain stocks and Boeing stocks and others. And when the stocks went down, we lost a lot. And it got
Okay.
hard. It definitely got hard, talking you might lose your password real quick and next thing you can't get on and something's tanking and next thing you know it locks you out for 2 weeks, boom, you're down 500,000, 600, and next thing you know you kind of just give up. It's difficult. So what I learned was to be careful with your money. You can risk it, but don't put all your eggs in one basket.
That's right.
So you have a few different areas to put your money, put your investments, and let them all grow. You don't just put them all in one spot. um, Saving your money. Don't just be spending it all because you can let your money grow for you. You know what I mean? So I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess it mainly came from my parents.
That's good. That's good. That's called a generational mindset. Even though you said your dad had some bad experiences, he was there in the market. So he may have,
Yeah.
your grandparents may have taught him. You mentioned 600,000. It's no telling what kind of money you're talking about from how much he was putting in the markets and in Boeing, because I know hell Boeing has been around forever, right? Sydney, they've been around a
Yeah.
long time, but it's definitely the right place to go because I tell people this, Brendan, it's binary. We're about to, get into another year. Every dollar you make, it's binary. It's going to be spent or invested.
Mm-hmm.
Every $1 that's coming into your possession will be spent or invested. And I can break that down, but I'm not going to do that right now. But just to let everybody know, it's going to be, people say, I got to pay bills. And if it goes into savings, it eventually goes to an emergency that you're going to pull out. For a lot of people, not everybody will save, forever. So that money to me, if you don't have a conscious decision to say, I'm going to take a dollar and put it in something and allow that money to turn over for me, it's just going to be spent. So that's just a mindset I want everybody who's listening to this to understand. You can say, I don't want to do the mark, I want to do this. That means you're just saying, hey, I'm just going to spend it all and put it in cash registers. That's all you're going to do. And you have to go back to work and replenish it over and over, and it never stops. And I'm telling you, Brandon, I have people at 50, 55 who've done that for the last 30 years and don't have anything put up. Then they say, well, what do I do now? Well, we still have opportunities for you to get caught up, but that's just the cycle that you're going. I would much rather have an easier path to say, well, you know what, I'm going to be frugal. I'm going to be wise with my money right now, and I'm going to invest, X percent of it right now and allow this to work for me. I'm just going to make this a norm or a practice for me moving forward. So I think that's important. So Brandon, you came in at the very beginning as a diamond member, which is our top program. That means Brandon is building a stock portfolio with us for 3.5 years. He's doing options trading with us. So you had
Mhm.
a whole year. I know our portfolio's done great. Our returns, done amazing over the year. Also, those options contracts. I'm sure you were around when we were doing all those amazing options trades. So you made money that way. And we had a slight conversation yesterday. You said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna start doing these multiple contracts." And
Mhm.
since you brought, so you get these gains with one or two. You say, "Hey, man, if I had done 10 contracts, that'd been $10,000 on that one trade, or five contracts, $5,000 on one trade." But you've done it the right way. And I like the fact that you came to the options program. You can tiptoe a little bit, make money, see how it all works. And then as your profit builds up in your portfolio, you can, take some of that house money and start, going out there getting multi contracts on their dime. So I think you did that inherently. I don't know if you came to a coaching session with us before where I kind of talked about
Mhm.
doing that, but that's a good way. That's a good approach. So I commend you for that as well, Bert.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Definitely at the beginning of the investment cycle, the first of this year, I definitely was tiptoeing pretty lightly. The just the initial investment, it wasn't difficult, but it was, definitely a jump, right?
Right.
And the first couple months, I was tiptoeing, and I was kind of scared to risk a little bit more. And I kind of wish I risked a little bit more. I did pretty good. I wish I followed some of these steps a little bit better. I'll tell you that. Sometimes I'm like, I took a few classes, and I was like, I started getting my own head. Like, you know what? I bet I could do a little bit of this or that. And you
Right.
know what? I should have just took a step back, continued the process from the beginning at the very start. But it's okay. I had the whole year to learn, and it's been great so far. And this last couple months, the stocks have been coming back, and it's been doing really good. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you mentioned coming back. I know we had our initial conversation as a diamond member. You come in, I can do like a portfolio review and look at some stocks
yeah.
that you have out there. So you came in and you have a portfolio already. Some of the stuff was struggling. And some of those things I looked at, I said, they're done. Get out of those. But there are some stocks out there that I said, hey, I like what they're doing. You have an inside purview to the company and the value of what they're doing, right? So when I do my foundations course, I tell people, and Warren Buffett preaches this as well. Sometimes you invest a little money in things that you're familiar with, things that you know about, right? Because
Hmm.
you're at Boeing, you see vendors coming in, you see all the stuff that's happening in the future that looks like it's going to be. You see some people starting early. You kind of went in there and you went all in on some of those stocks. They were down tremendously. But I said,
Hmm.
based on my experience, right? So we had a light conversation, but all that experience came in my response to those stocks. And I said, well, hold tight on those. So tell the people how much those stocks have gone up over the last 3 weeks.
Well, when I first got them, some of these, I feel very strongly about them. And
Good.
when I started getting on with some of the classes with Ray, and I was like, hey, let's go over my current stocks, and you can tell me, give me a little professional advice on these. And they were down about 30-40%. I was hurting. I was definitely hurt. And just in the last couple months, like they started to come back up. I think I've recouped about all of that 30-40%. And then in the last 3 weeks, they're up another 30-40%. So they're doing great.
which which is about 15,000 bucks.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible. I think that's incredible. And the window of those stocks, I think, once they hit it, they get into the groove with the financials and they get the product out there, the marketing, start doing this thing right, they can really take off and make you a whole lot of money. So that's the good thing
Yeah.
about it. That's right. And
The way
for
it's the
all those people,
technology of the future.
that's right. That's right. And listen, I'm going to make all of the shadow participants comfortable right now who's watching this video. The apparatus we have available now is, well, I got those stocks as well. They pop off, you guys will be getting them on a regular basis to start investing in those things, right? So with one decision, we can have hundreds of investors, Brendan, in those same companies, right? Through our shadow portfolio program. So that's another good thing that we have available. We disseminate information, we disseminate good information and good opportunities that they may not necessarily have access to. So that's a
Mhm.
good thing about being in our program. I'm getting information fed vetting all information and watching information. And as soon as it's a go, whether it's going to be an options contract or we buying the stock itself or both, you guys are going to all take advantage of that. And I think that's going to be great. So that's a good thing with the communications that we have and all of the stuff that Sydney's helped put together so far. So I think that's incredible. Sydney, you have another question? I can talk all day.
Do you have any key takeaways for potential people, looking to start their investing journey with us?
Some key takeaways. Definitely. If you're afraid to jump in, that's okay. I would still say do it. I did. I didn't hesitate really. I think after me and Ray's first first meeting, I think within a couple hours I was already in on one of them, and then I think a week later I jumped in on the second half.
That's right. That's right. You
uh,
sure did, man.
if people are looking at it, I guess it depends on how someone's looking at it. If they're thinking, "Oh, it's going to cost me this much, cost me that much." Try looking at it in a different way. You shouldn't be looking at how much it costs. It's an investment in yourself and in your future. Over the next year, how much are you going to spend on food and on gas and on certain bills, right? You could spend the same amount or even less on the side, and it could be an investment in yourself. And then in a couple of years, it could be worth double, triple, or more. So
That's right.
it's definitely worth it. It's something that you jump in on, and I think everyone should try it out.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a good answer for you, Sydney.
Yeah, that's great.
No problem. Well, yeah, that's amazing, Brandon. I think again, I go back to our initial conversation. I'm like, man, I wish everybody was that easy to convert. But here's the thing: you talk about your parents doing it, and you already had the portfolio, so you already had the mindset, right? So you look at this program like, oh yeah, this is something I want to do, and this is something I can benefit from. And I tell people, we're not a cost center. We're an investment, right? You make an investment in us with the hopes of returning that on the back end, right? So it's not like you can they take trip people take trips all the time. Yeah, you can you go out and have a good time, or you buy things. You go to Saks Fifth Avenue and spend that money and watch it depreciate over time. In our program, you come in here, you're gonna put some money in to get started, but then we're gonna for the rest of the time you're in the program, we're all about making money. So that's the kind of environment I always want to be in. So I think that's a good takeaway as well, Brandon. So that's great. That's great news. That's great. Yep.
Thank you.
Anything else, Cindy Brand? Any other questions?
Let's see. I don't think I have any more questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so, Brandon, how's the weather out there in Washington, man? What do y'all do out there? Do you fish? What do you?
Oh man. Since we came back off strike, we were used to the 75, 80-degree warm weather, and we came back off the strike and it dropped down to 35, 40. It is cold.
Oh
Now
man, really?
it's not nearly as humid as down in the south. It's much drier, so it's probably not nearly as bad. I'm just complaining. I ain't used to it or something. But we just had our first snowfall the other day. It was nice. It's nice to look at from inside the warm house, but we work outside, so you will
Wow, are
layer
you
up.
guys like in a warehouse or?
It's more like a flight line.
Okay, okay,
We're on the flight line. You're working on airplanes, and
right.
you're working outside.
Okay, okay, man, that's a amazing skill to have. But man, I'm still thinking about that 22% going into your 401k and then matching it. Like, oh my God, that's a lot of money.
Hmm.
You're doing it this early, so who do you think you're going to be when you retire, Brandon? I mean, you can literally think about that. You're going to accumulate some money really fast here. So, have you ever thought about retiring and how old you think you'll be at retirement?
Uh, I haven't made any calculations. I ain't that smart, right?
Okay,
But
okay,
I would like to be retired in maybe like early 40s. I would say in a good 10 to 15 years, I would like to retire, and then
right,
maybe make because maybe make my second job work for me. My second job I call it is my stocks, because
there
you
you
during
go.
the daytime you work for someone else, and at nighttime your money work for you, and that's
That's
what I
right.
like. So I'm hoping by
That's
the
right.
time the next 10 to 15 years, if I could retire, that's my
Right.
goal in my early 40s. early 40s, and
There you
maybe I
go.
can come out and hang out with you or something.
There you go, man. We're going to be on some boat somewhere. So
Yeah, we
if
both have a
Sydney, if I
boat.
leave it up to Sydney, we'd be all over the world. She
Hey,
thinks
can't complain.
Yeah.
she's got to go. She wants to go to Africa and all over the place. Europe, we're all over the place. So it's just
Hmm.
that's an amazing life to have. And hey, you're on the right path for it, brother, because at your age and investing as much as you're putting in this market right now, and with AI, we didn't even talk about artificial intelligence and how things are changing. AI is going to make all these companies more efficient and more profitable, which means their stock prices are probably going to jump and shoot through the roof. So when that whole transformation happens, Brandon, you're going to see these stocks, especially the ones I'm putting you guys in our portfolio program. I'm putting you guys in nuclear energy stocks. You guys have the all these chips that are making AI go. We're in those stocks. I'm positioning you guys for some incredible return. So again, when you have those stock portfolio picks come out on a monthly basis, if you ever go all in, with the right proportions, like I tell you guys to do, man, you can really set yourself up pretty quick because I'm putting you guys in some really cutting edge stuff that's going to pay off 3 to 5 years from today, right? 3 to 5 years, those
Hmm.
stocks are going to be incredible. So we're going to be competing with that portfolio you got at Boeing. Symor Investments portfolio is going to compete with that thing, even though you're putting all that money in there and they're matching it. We're going to compete with efficiency and putting you in some really cutting edge stocks, man. So be on the lookout for that. So we're excited about it. And when I think about you also doing these options contracts with us, Brandon, I recall maybe you had so many stocks before. I had considered putting you in options contracts to hedge. When we had that first
Hmm.
conversation, you remember we talked about I can
Hmm.
hedge your losses with options. I don't know if you even did all that stuff, but there's so many ways on the markets utilizing options contracts and stocks to protect you from losses. I know you had mentioned something your father had gone through. Man, with options, we can hedge all downward trends on the market, right? So if the market goes down, you can get paid, right? I think you
Hmm.
and I had the advanced options course. We talked about that.
We
So
did.
we sure did. Brent, I'm gonna tell everybody out here, you're 29, you did diamond membership, elite membership, you get the online courses. I mean, sorry, you get the classes with us, right? We were doing advanced options, and now you saw the rollout yesterday. Adam, you got a chance to log into your account, but you see a whole list of stocks, right? I'm sorry, a whole list of classes, features and commodities, advanced options, everything is there. And for diamond members, you guys have access to everything. Okay. So you got all that training. So not only are you making money on the markets, you're learning and stuff at the same time and becoming a very effective and efficient trader as well. So that's our goal. Brandon, you are a prototype investor that we like to have in the program. When I say prototype, I mean you get on all the products and you're learning all this stuff and you're committed to the markets. That's all. Those are the three ingredients we think is required for success long term. So I think you're in a really good situation there. So I appreciate you for being on board and having this conversation with us today.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else you want to add, Brandon?
Uh, nah, man, you covered it all.
I did. So can I talk more to you, Brandon? I think I heard you had a long-winded conversation. You kind of long-winded.
Oh, the other day.
Yeah, someone said that you were kind of long-winded, when we were
Uh,
talking.
yeah, it depends on the subject. Some subjects, I'll dig in so hard that I'll just keep going,
There you
and
go.
yeah, I come off as long-winded. Like, you gonna breathe today? I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. It depends on who you're talking to and the subject that matter.
That's all good, man. It's all about the passion. I love it. They say,
Mhm.
what can you talk about for an hour straight without stopping? I know I can talk about the markets for an hour straight. I don't know. Is the market one of those things for you?
It was close. It was a little bit investing in myself, but in other ways.
Okay. All right.
Maybe
So,
some I
Brandon,
won't bring up though.
no, there you go. That's all good. So, Brandon, you're gonna be building a house on the property. You're building all these portfolios. I mean, 29, you're hitting it on all cylinders, and we appreciate you bringing all this to light for our investors. I like I just found out you were 29 right before we got on today, and I think that's even more amazing that you're grappling onto this now. Now, let me compare that. to a typical 29-year-old, I don't say typical, but some 29-year-olds, they go right into the workforce. They relish over the income that they have. The first
Mm-hmm.
mindset they have is, I'm going to go out and buy all the things that I hadn't been able to buy before, which means they're going to spend money. And people are going to look at them and say, hey, man, you're doing great. You own this, you got bought this, you go in there, you're doing that. But if they leave out what you're doing, which is sacrificing for that future, they're going to be 29. Then at some point, your lifestyle catches up with your income. What I mean by that is you get the house in the suburbs, you get the home, you get maybe a vacation a year or two, then you're locked into that job and that job is everything, right? At some point. So if you don't invest in yourself, you become hate to use the word slave to employment, but you have that job is your whole entire life. So people have to be careful with those brand new, coming in early, making that money, being excited about buying things and just living the life that they dream about and forget about the investment part. Because Brandon, I can tell you, you're sacrificing a lot of money for your future, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
counting
Right.
22% at Boeing and what you're doing with Symor Investments. A lot of your income is going towards, you may be starting to save for your house. Man, you're really positioning yourself for a strong, Brandon at 40 versus trying to just live that life right now. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. Yes.
That's incredible. And that's a mindset. So I think that's incredible. So
I think it's a mindset that I was lucky to get instilled when I was a younger age, mid 20s, low. No, no, more like late teens. My dad was always preaching to me, save your money, save your money. You can always go buy all the toys, but next thing you know, you're gonna be low on money and you're gonna be a slave to the workforce, as a term you kind of put it. And
right.
I never wanted to, have to depend on the next check on everything. So I wanted to figure out a way to just make more money on the side. And some people get a second job. Well, investing is a good way to go. You could
Yeah, I love
make
that.
money while you sleep. You can wake up in the morning, be up 5%, 10%. It could be $500, could be $5,000. You don't know.
That's it. That's
So
right.
I got
That's
it
right.
instilled when I was a young age, and I think I'm lucky that way. So maybe for the others that are around my age that are looking at that new shiny truck or some new wheels or some new stuff around the house, is to think about what else that money can do for you. My dad
That's right.
told me how I first got into crypto or investing in general was, hey, I told my dad, I was like, hey, Pop, look, I'm gonna go buy this $1,000 new toy, right? He's like, why don't you put that $1,000 into something that'll make you more money. And then once you make that double that money, pull that money out and you go buy a toy and still have that $1,000.
Simple.
That's what started it all.
That's an amazing quote right there. And that's what's needed, right? And Cindy can tell you she's been hearing that for a long time too. So
Yeah.
you invest some of that money and you let that money listen, when the market starts to work for you, you live in, I mean, that's just to me, that's an amazing opportunity. And you had mentioned about go get another job. And when I do my Q&As, I tell people that. I say, hey, some people say, hey, I'm running a little low. I think I need to get a second job. And the system out here, the capitalist system, that's what they tell you. Go work for somebody else. Stay away from your family when do your full-time job and leave your family again at night to go get another check. To me, my family time and being home, I value that more than being on somebody's clock. So if I can press a few buttons and do a couple of options trades, if I do a $400 profit here, 300 here, and it goes up and start to balloon to 3,000, 4,000 fit over time per trade, I've saved myself from having to go out and get another job because I can do that
Mm-hmm.
trade while I'm driving to the one job that I have, right? Then pretty soon those options contracts are looking is vying or competing with your primary check because you can make just as much money doing options as you do on your regular job. Then you have another decision to make. Do I need to have this job? So learning options is a way, again, it's another income source in the markets, it's an income source. So it's an amazing journey to be on. And you like I said, you're gonna learn a lot. Again, as your portfolio balloons even higher, and we start to hedge, if the market looks different and starts to go the other way, options. You say, well, I go do a contract on this. If it goes below this price, they pay me with the contract, and I lose value in the stock, but the contract is paying me the money that I'm losing. Incredible. That means I never lose any money on the markets. So that all comes from understanding what we're doing and being willing to learn it. So I think that's just an incredible journey to be on at this early age. And man, I see nothing but great things happening for you in the future. So we're glad to have you on board. And we got you for a while, Brandon. And hey, we may circle around and have another discussion again. Those stocks, you did 15,000 3 weeks, they go up to, 100,000. You're gonna be right back on here again saying, hey man, I went from 15 to 100K in those stocks. We'll have to talk about that conversation. We'll have to have that conversation again for everybody to see.
Well, if I get more good news like that, and saying next upcoming year, let's definitely do another podcast. We can do a little what you want to call it, little insights, more podcasts about how some investors are doing. But I could be your protege, or well, what was the term you used earlier? I forget, but I'll be here. Let's do this together.
All right, brother.
I'm glad that I got on, and thank you for letting me be here today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I thought about you and I said, hey, this is a great opportunity for you to tell your story. Real estate, Boeing, Diamond member, doing the classes. I mean, you've done everything with us, and as far as the program is concerned, the results speaks for themselves, right? We're delivering results. We are delivering results, options, stock. So hey, we're going to keep this train rolling. And again, one another takeaway is you say, hey, I was doing things a little different, and I wish I had done with done some years of experience. And that's okay to
Mhm.
go ahead and try some things. You may try or not do this, that, or other, but now you're here. You're here now, and you're gonna just you're gonna do kind of what we're suggesting on those portfolios, and the sky's the limit. So I understand, you learning as well, but the shadow programs are designed to save you time. So you don't have to figure some of this stuff out. We figured it all out for you, and you can go out there and do it. But also, the learning and the teachings on those webinars and just our classes, we're going to make you smarter investors. So, and I think that's a good benefit for you as well. So, well, welcome aboard. See, you got anything else in closing?
I think we're all good for today. I
Okay,
was gonna
okay.
let you know about our potential new product next year, the Hyper Shadow.
Oh
That's
yeah.
gonna be a lot. That's gonna be a lot more options contracts next year. So if you're interested in that, just keep an eye out for that when we launch that
Oh,
next
I
year.
will. I
Yeah,
will.
Yep.
yeah,
Oh, she's about to that thing's about to she's about to do something very aggressive. This hyper shadow program that's coming out, hyper shadow options, right? Because we have so many
yeah.
investors want to do so much more with options. We had to address that need, and we're going to release that in the next year. So that's going to be incredible. It's not going to be for the weak-hearted people. It's going to be for the people who want to turn money, turn money, turn money. Hell, they can make, $500,000 next year, but you're gonna have some capital to get in there and be willing to go out there and make trades and go back and forth with us. So some people think they want it. We're gonna give you what you want. So and it's there, and it's gonna be great, and it's that's something to be on the lookout for, Brandon. So well, so just be on the lookout for that one. That's gonna be great.
Oh,
All right,
I'm
Brandon. Well,
excited.
all right, brother. I told Sydney we got people waiting on that thing, and we're gonna knock it out of the park in 2025. Man, we got so many new products, even with our software and everything we've been doing. It's just it's been an incredible journey. And Sydney's been an architect on a lot of this stuff, and I really appreciate her for putting all this stuff together. She's got 2 degrees, and she's well versed in the markets. She's been learning from me since she's probably about 16. So she's
Yeah.
well prepared, and she can pull stock. She can find company stocks, options. She can do all this stuff. So she's been trained and mentored for a long period of time. So it's going to be great for her. So anyway,
Wow.
well, thank you, Brandon. We'll be catching up, man, and you stay warm out there today. And if we're ever in the Spokane, Washington area, I don't know what we're going to do, but go hunting and fishing. I mean, what do we do out there? We come out to Spokane. First place we go, is there? You got a nice restaurant out there? What is it?
Yeah, we're gonna go to Michael's on the Lake. It's probably the nicest restaurant I can find around here on the least at least on the east side of the mountains.
Oh, wait, hey, you mentioned mountains, you mentioned a
Oh,
lake, and you mentioned
hiking.
eating. We're excited. Those are 3 good things, man. We don't see that down south, so that's going to be exciting. So we may take you up on that offer one day, Brandon.
All right, will do.
All right, well, thanks, guys, and I appreciate your time, Brandon. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thank
Ray.
you.
Thank you,
See you.
Sydney.
All right.